Hi guys, it's Chris. Welcome back to my bedroom to try some cider. And this is like the second part of a two-part, if you like. Two totally unrelated products, but I wanted to do two at once just to save time. So what's it going to be? Well, it's a cider. It is called Dabinette with an E, and it is a single variety Dabinette without the E. So Dabinette is a single variety. It's a single variety medium cider. So Dabinette is a classic bittersweet. It's classed as a full bittersweet, I believe it is, which means it's got big tannins basically. It's also a vintage, which means it's great for making single varietal. Most ciders are best blended. Most cider apples are best blended with other apples to give you the best all-around flavour. But certain varietals, Kingston Black, Dabinette, some others, classified as vintage because they do very well by themselves because they've got a good level of acidity, sugar and tannin. Nice balance, if you like. We tried one by Cummatic a couple of films ago, single variety. It'll be interesting to see how this fares up. I have not had anything from Bushel and Peck before. I've seen them around a lot, but I'm pretty sure I've never tried it for whatever reason. Don't know why. Anything on here? Bushel and Peck, cider and perry. This is rich and mellow, it says. Our limited edition single variety ciders aim to reveal the qualities and characteristics of the apples from which they are made. Batch 2019-23. Where are these people? Dabinette is a classic bittersweet cider with a robust astringency that softens over time. So that full bittersweet, so full tannins, big tannins, which is why they're saying the astringency will soften over time as you age it. The generous tannins give this a vigorous cidery taste. Produced by the Cotswold Fruit Company Limited, Abbey Terrace, Winchcombe, Gloucestershire. Okay, so this is So there's an umbrella company making this, obviously. So Bushel and Peck is the cider brand, or one of their cider brands. So let's open it and see. I mean, it's obviously, it's got some tannin in. You can tell from the colour already because it takes tannins to oxidise to give you that colour, basically. Also, it's hazy, so it's unfiltered. We like that. It doesn't say if it's sparkling. Let's find out. It is sparkling. I just heard a hiss there. Not much of one, but as you can see, I don't know if you can see, there's very few bubbles. Maybe it is still. It did make a bit of a hiss. It might just be a hint of a sparkle. Let's pour it out and see. I would say that's sparkling. Quite delicate sparkle. I'd say a very soft sparkle. In fact, yeah, it is. It's got fine bubbles. So I'm going to guess it looks... can't see anything in the bottom. So I don't know if it's bottle conditioned or forced carbonated. But the bubbles look quite fine, which tends to make me think it's bottle conditioned. But I'm not sure. So yeah, there's the colour. Amber gold, I'm going to say. Hazy. Not bright because unfiltered. Let's give it a smell. Okay. So there is a leatheriness there. And then we also detected that in the Cummatic. There was a leatheriness on the nose, which is coming from the tannins. In fact, that's probably the biggest thing I'm getting. There is like a ripe edged apple skin sort of floating around in the background there. But it smells like a tannic cider, this, I have to say. Yeah, I mean, that sort of leatheriness is the thing that's prominent. And actually, that makes me optimistic. That's good. That's not something you tend to get in commercial ciders, that leatheriness. You don't get it. You only get that from proper cider apples, really. Things with high tannins, not culinary or dessert apples. So if you go to the East Coast or Suffolk, Kent, they tend to use dessert apples, culinary apples, because that's what they grew for like big markets, like London, for example. They'd ship their product to London, so they'd make it from surplus culinary and dessert apples. So the tradition on the East Coast is to make cider from those things. It doesn't suit my palate so much. They tend to be more acid, much lighter in colour because they lack the tannins that give you the colour, and also they lack the tannin which gives you the structure as well. So it's quite a different beast. But it's personal. It's personal preference. There's nothing wrong with those ciders. It's very different to these West Country ciders made with proper cider apples. Okay, let's try it. Yeah, obvious tannin, soft tannin on the front of the soft tannin gives you the astringency, so that squeakiness. So if I run my finger over my tongue over my teeth, it's squeaking as it goes. And that's the astringency from the tannin. Maybe the merest hint of leatheriness on the back. It's almost the opposite of the Dabinette we had from Cummatic, whereas that had very little astringency on the front, but really kind of quite not as strong, but obvious leathery tannins on the back, which balance the sweetness really well. This has got more acidity than that as well, so a bit slightly more acid based. Yeah, rich white apple skin. There is, it's more rich. There's a richness to it. This one has a little bit more acidity, but I find it a bit richer, so it almost needs that a bit more. It doesn't have quite the same level of minerality. So when I talk about minerality, I'm talking about you go to a mountain stream, you pull out a stone, you lick it. That's what I mean by minerality, and we've all done that, obviously, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, delicate, more acidity, less minerality, less of that leatheriness, which I kind of wish it had. I don't feel it's as sweet, but I feel the sweetness is a tad more cloying because it doesn't have that leathery bitterness on the back end to balance out that sweetness. ABV 7.2. It's a bit richer. I think it might be coming from the higher alcohol level. Comatic was only 5%, so 7.2. It's quite a bit more. It's almost like half as much again. Hides the alcohol though, as most cider does. Dangerous stuff, cider. Bloody hell. You can get pretty drunk on cider very easily if you don't check out the ABV before you start drinking it. This is solid. It's a little bit richer. I find it a tad more cloying than I did the Comatic. I wish it had the leatheriness that I got on the nose. It's lacking on the palate, and I wish it was there, because I think if it had that, it would be much more in balance. It'd be much more in balance. As it is, I'm going to drink this very happily. Don't get me wrong. This is a solid cider. I am not going to in any way detract from the fact that this is a solid cider compared to stuff you get in most supermarkets or sort of commercial industrial stuff. It kicks their ass, basically. Doesn't say if it's wild yeast either. Be good to know that, because the yeast does make a difference. It smells very clean. I suspect it's been in steel or plastic, not oak. I could be wrong, but it doesn't say anything on the bottle, so I'm just going to guess. And it's 2019 vintage, so it's the same vintage as Comatic. So it's quite nice. It's almost like with like. Except it's from a different orchard, so it's not really like with like. And I don't know the scale of these orchards either, if they're dwarf or sort of dwarf rootstock or like proper standard trees, or it's like a industrial sort of like orchard. You know, different characteristics. Different levels of nitrogen, which means you get different speeds of fermentation, and the faster the fermentation, the less complexity. So this feels like it could have, you know, matured a bit faster, so it lacks some of the complexity of the other one. But I'm just hazarding a guess because I don't know the answer to that. Blah, blah, blah. All right, guys. So there you go. Dabinette which is Dabinette, from Bushel and Peck. Yeah, if you like something, if you like something that's a bit richer, a bit sweeter, with less of that leathery sort of tannic character, then I suggest you get hold of it. I'd quite like to have this with a bit of cheese, but a traditional cheddar would be great, because I think the saltiness and the acidity would actually bring something to the party with this. I think it needs the salt against the sugar would be great. Yeah, and the acidity I think would just temper that sweetness a little bit more. Anyway, there you go. How bad can it be? All right, guys, as always, thank you for watching. I hope you come and see me again. But until then, cheers.